Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Should I repeat introduction?
Yes, no, Julia.
It's no problem.
Short introduction, yeah.
Okay, we'll do just a 3D model step by step. You can follow it with me with Blender. And basically, I'll just show you the basic tools. Well, the tools we did previous webinar, we'll just apply them here. I'll just show you a couple more. Basically, it will be modifiers. They're very useful. And then depending on if we have more or less time, I can just show you a bit more of it, of 3D modeling, but it's going to be other like extra steps that are not completely necessary. And then, well, basically I'll also show you how to follow up on your learning about Blender. It's basically a couple channels on YouTube. There's like tutorials and stuff like that, that you can follow it with them, and they're free. So perfect. Good. I'll do the screen share. Can you see it, Blender? Yep.
Yes.
So basically, we'll be doing this. If we have time, I'll show you how to animate it, just a very quick animation, and then it will be done. It's very simple, and we'll go step by step. Okay. So first of all, we're gonna go general new one. Okay. We won't save it. Let me get the chat. I lost the chat. I don't know why. Tell me if there is someone on the chat, please. I just lost the window of the chat for some reason when I started sharing. Oh, there we go. Okay, got it.
Have you found it?
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so if we start Blender, we're gonna get this. Basically, it's a basic cube, a camera here, and a basic light. We won't need them for now, so we'll just remove them. And what we're gonna do, quick question, can I send the file, just an image for people? It's a reference image here. Let's see. Okay.
Sí, ya. What's the thing? What's the issue?
Okay, no, I just wanted to send like a reference picture so if people can download it and put it. Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do is, first of all, when we want to do a 3D model, the best is to get references. It's very useful and very quick, and it will make all the process way faster. It depends on how accurate you want it to a real object. In this case, we're just gonna do I believe it's a Dutch windmill. So we'll just put the reference image, and then we will just do the 3D model by looking on the reference, okay? So basically what we're gonna do is using numpad. Oh, wait, I'm gonna do, I think. This is not for you, it's for me, so you can see my keys. Okay. Okay, so basically what we're gonna do is reset the view, and we're gonna do it on this one, orthographic, so we don't have depth of field. That's gonna be very important. You'll see now with the reference images. It's super important. You can press this button or numpad 5. Okay, so we change the view. So we're gonna add the reference image first on Blender. So it's very easy. We can do Shift A. I'll be doing a lot of shortcuts because they're very fast, and as early you learn how to use shortcuts in Blender, it's gonna be better. I'll try to show you also where it's in the button, but usually it's better shortcuts, okay? So if we press Shift A, here we can add objects to the scene, and we're gonna add an image, and we're gonna go reference, and here we're gonna choose the downloaded image, have it here, windmill reference, and we have it here, okay? We're gonna have this on the back, and as we 3D model, we can just compare to what we have, okay? So we want to align it to the horizon, to the origin. Okay, and if you want to add it by, if you don't remember the shortcut, it's here, add, and then we go image and reference, okay? Okay, so now we wanna start with a 3D model. We need to start with a basic shape. So we're gonna do the same, Shift A, and we're gonna go mesh. And the most important when we 3D model from a reference, for example, it's we want to look at basic shapes we can subtract from a real life object. So for example, this windmill, what we want to do is first the biggest shape. So we build a windmill body of it. So it has kind of like a cone shape, but for easier modeling, we're gonna start with a cylinder and then we're gonna make it just taper inwards, okay? So what we're gonna do is Shift A, mesh, and then we'll go cylinder, okay? So we have this cylinder, but as you can see, it has too many faces. So it's very easy, we can just click here. Don't click anything after adding the cylinder or you will lose this window, okay? So we can just Control Z, Shift A again, mesh, cylinder. And then here we can choose the faces on the side of it. So this windmill has 8 faces, 8 sides. Okay, so we're gonna have it like this. And we're gonna move it so it touches with the base of the windmill. And if you want to see through the 3D object to see the reference on the back, we can just simply Alt Z and we can have it. By the way, I don't know if you can see it. Wait, I'm gonna move the mouse a bit here. Okay, I moved the camera. I don't know if you remember from previous webinar, but basically moving the camera is holding Shift and then middle mouse. You can pan it around. If we press only middle mouse, so the mouse wheel, we rotate it around, okay? And as I said earlier, to reset the camera to see the front or the side, that's very important. We're gonna be using that a lot, is the numpad, if you have a numpad. If you don't have a numpad on your keyboard, that's basically those numbers on the right side of it. You can do it here by clicking on this axis, and we can switch to the sides, to the front, to the top. Okay, so basically we're gonna do this. It's front is 1 in the numpad, side is number 3, and 7 is from the top. Okay, so we're gonna be doing 7. By the way, I'm gonna lower the size of it. Okay. Okay, so now we start modeling. So what we want to do is click on the cylinder. Okay, wait, I'm gonna move this image more back. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna move it back so it doesn't get in the way. So we're gonna select the cylinder and we're gonna go tab view. To see through is Alt Z, by the way. We're gonna have it all this enabled right now because we need to see the reference. Okay, and what we want to do is when we have this enabled, the Alt Z, we can select by dragging, and we can select the back side. That's also very important. So we have this, and what we want to do is basically here we have it indicated with colors, for example. So we're gonna do first the base. So we're gonna do this yellow part. So basically pressing G, we start moving this. And with middle mouse, we lock on an axis. As you can see, this blue line. If you want to change another axis, we just hold middle mouse and we move the mouse and then release the middle mouse to confirm that axis. If we don't want to do this, we can just press G and then X for X axis, Y for front axis here, and Z for up and down. We're gonna use mostly middle mouse, it's way faster. So we're gonna just move it down here. And as you can see, it's at the same height as the top of this base. And now we want to taper it a bit inwards. So we just gonna press S. Wait, there we go. I'm gonna press S and we're just gonna taper it inwards. It doesn't have to be exact in this case, but if you wanna just do it exact, we can just adjust it a bit. This image. You always have to consider that if you would take like a real life picture, they have like perspective that in Blender we don't have. Well, we don't want to, because if we have perspective, this is what I said earlier, it's going to be like this, and it's very hard to model like this. So we always want to be on orthographic view. There's basically no depth of field. And always remember the front view. Okay, so we have this base, and then we're just gonna keep on building the base up until the top, and the roof, we're gonna do it with another 3D object, okay? So we go on edit mode, pay attention to this mode here. It's when we want to edit the shape, see-through with Alt-Z, and we just select everything. And here there's like a small balcony, so we're just gonna extrude pressing E, and it already locks on this axis, really good. And we're just gonna, I'm not pressing anything. Now left click, and we confirm the extrude. And basically we're just gonna keep on extruding and tapering it a bit inwards, like a cone, okay? So we're just gonna extrude again, and then S, and we're just gonna have it like this. And then we're gonna extrude again. But here we have like it comes out a bit. So what we can do is, as we press extrude, you can just press S, and we just resize it. We don't go up and down, we just resize it a bit. As you can see from the top, we just made it like this. And then we're gonna just keep on extruding upwards. Move the camera. And we want to have it on the top here on the edge with the roof. I'm gonna be like, yeah, but it's not exact, right? It's doing a bit of curving. So that's very easy. We're gonna do it with a tool we did last class. It's gonna be edge loop cut, sorry. We have it here, but I prefer using the shortcut, very easy. Control Z, okay? And it says where you want to put the loop cut. So I'm gonna cancel, get the see-through, and the same, Control R. We're like, okay, we want to do a loop cut here. So we just left click on it, and then it's gonna tell you where we want it, at what height. So we're gonna put it here, and then we're just gonna resize it a bit. As you can see, it's already like looking more like the windmill. So, okay, here, probably I made it a bit too big. So what we wanna do is just select all this and resize it a bit. Okay, gonna move it a bit down. And we're gonna do the same loop cut down here. And there we go. So you can see it's already starting to take the shape of this main body of the windmill. If we want to just make it more bigger, this is like part, we can just do it like this, resize it. It's up to you. It depends on what you want to do. If you have an art style, you want to make it a bit more fantastical. For now, we're just gonna get as close as possible to reality without going too crazy with it. And basically we have the main body. Now, what we can do is we choose, all right? And we're gonna do different shapes. We're gonna have to add different ones. So what we have, for example, is this balcony. So we're gonna start with this, okay? So the balcony is basically like a circle going around, like a donut. So basically what we can do is just Shift A again, and we can add a circle. See, as you can see, the circle has like, it's only the edge of it, has no face around it. As you can see, it has nothing in the middle. That's perfect for us because we don't want a face inside of it, okay? But as you can see, it has too many faces, as the same as happened with the cylinder. We can do exactly the same without clicking anything. After creating the circle, here in vertices, we just press 8, enter, and it's the exact same faces. Okay, so we're gonna go front face again, see-through, Alt-Z. We're just gonna go up and put it at the same height as the balcony. And we're gonna just adjust it just on the wall of the windmill. Perfect. We're just gonna do it on the top side, so here, okay? And as we have it done, now what we want to do is go outwards of it, right? So we can just, the same as always, extrude. Oh, sorry, we need to go edit mode. And then, by the way, I'm changing between vertices, edges, and faces by pressing 1, 2, and 3. For now, it doesn't really matter if we have it on vertices or edges. We just go see-through. We just select everything because we don't need to choose anything specific. And then what we're going to do is press E again, extrude. And as you can see, it's doing the same as before, it's just going up and down, whatever, but we don't want that. We just want to make it bigger. So we just press S and we put it at the same size as the balcony. And as you can see, it's as the balcony is just basically outwards. Now, the problem we have is that if we do a front face, we can't see the balcony. It's basically because it has no thickness to it. So for that, we have two options. I'll just do the second one. There's a bit more complex for now, but it's good to learn it. The first way, it's basically an extrude. So we can just, front face, press E. Sorry, edit mode. We go faces mode and we press A to select everything. Front face, and we press E to extrude. And basically we just added thickness to it. Yeah, but this is too boring. We want to use other tools for Blender that will be very, very useful in the future for future projects, okay? So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna go to these windows here on the right, and you see this, it says modifier properties. We click on it, and this is the modifier window. This is a very important tool set, we can say it, for Blender and 3D modeling. Other programs have it. In 3D Max, it's not exactly this, but it has the same function. It's basically layers on it. So we 3D model, but then we can add a layer on top of it of, if we don't want even to do like modifications to our 3D model to be more exact, or if we want to do everything one by one, we can just add a modifier. It's like a filter, like a Photoshop filter, that it doesn't destroy anything. Basically, it's not non-destructive. That means that we can always revert back. We can just edit it, and we can always go back forwards with it. There's no problem. It's not gonna, like, we never gonna have the problem of, oh, I need to Control Z because I don't want this anymore. We can always delete it. So we click on here, add modifier, and we're gonna go to solidify, basically add thickness to it. And as you can see, it already did it a bit. We can see it here. Here we have many ones. We're not gonna change the mode. We are only interested in thickness. So we're just gonna, by clicking on it and dragging, we're just gonna add the thickness we want. 0.05 is perfectly fine. And as you can see, it's modifying it, but on edit modes, we only see this flat side. Basically, it's like a filter on top that we are not modifying directly. It's like the computer is doing it for us. So it's basically, in this modifier, it's basically like doing an extrude for us evenly for everything, okay? Oh, well, we have this done now. And now we want to add the railing. The railing is going to be a bit complex, but we're going to use different tools. It's going to make it very easy, because if we have to go one by one, all these wooden parts is going to take ages, and it's not going to be as precise. So basically what we want to do is we're going to do the supports first. Okay, so we're going to do just Shift A again, add a shape and a cube. Okay, the cube is here. We're going to do top view, and we're just going to resize it and make it very small. Move it to the side, and we're going to do first the supports on the vertices of the balcony. So here, this one, this one, this one, and this one. I'll show you why later, but basically we want to have first these vertices supports kind of thing. Okay, so we're just gonna resize it a bit, make it a bit smaller, and then we're gonna go front view, and we're just gonna place it on top of it. And by pressing S to scale and middle mouse and moving up and down, we just lock on this axis. And basically, we just make it more or less the same size as on the image. We're just gonna rotate it. And as we rotate it, we can hold Control. We don't need to lock on an axis because it's already like perpendicular to the front view, so that's very useful. But we press R to rotate, and we're gonna hold Control for snapping. So as you can see on the top left of my screen, it says rotation -10, -15, and we're gonna leave it on -30. So it feels like the camera, the image, and we're just gonna move it right on the edge, right here. We can always change it later if it doesn't fit perfectly fine. Okay, so we have this. So now what we need to do is like put the same shape on every vertices of the balcony, and it's gonna take very long. If we do it by hand, it's not gonna be probably as accurate, or it's gonna take way more time if we try to do it like perfectly fine. So the same, we just go to modifiers, and we have a modifier perfectly for that. That's called array. Basically, array, it's repeating the same shape. You just modify it on this shape, and it's gonna just duplicate it as many times as we tell it to, and as the distance we tell it to duplicate. Okay, so for example, if we go front view, we're not gonna change the fit type. We're just gonna change the count. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vertices. So we're just gonna have 8 duplicates of it. But as you can see, they are just like mounting up one next to the other. So we need to put some distance to them first. So we have the offsets for that. In this case, if we do the already activated one, the relative offset, and we just like increase it, as you can see, they go up. We don't want that. Because they're going like, we want them flat on the balcony. That's because we've modified this object, and the local axis, that's basically this part here. If we go, this is global, but if we go local, that means for this object, it's already rotated. It's already rotated, and the origin of it, that's this little yellow dot, it's displaced on the object, and we want to put it in the middle of the windmill. So when we rotate this object, it's just going to go like a circle around. Basically, the origin, it's another programs is usually called pivot. It's used in many computer programs. I think images also do it, like Photoshop. Basically, what we want to do is put it in the middle. As we rotate it, it's just going to rotate on the pivot and not on itself, because as you can see right now, by the way, we can just hide this modifier like this. If it's annoying, we can always like hide it. And if I rotate it, see, it's just rotating on itself. I just want to rotate it around the windmill like this. So basically what we want to do is Control A, and we can apply the transforms. So it's basically like telling Blender, okay, I'm done with all the transforms, all the stuff. I want you to reset all the rotation, scale, and location of it. So basically, if we do like, for example, rotation, you can see that the axis reset, Control Z, as you can see, rotation. But we want it also in the middle of this circle. So basically what we're gonna do is Control A, and we can do all transforms. It's basically gonna apply scale, rotation, and location. Rotation and scale, no, we want also location. So we can just do all transforms. And as you can see, it already changed, and the axis is here. I strongly recommend to do this at the end of modeling that object, because if now we want to edit it or like make it like bigger or something like that, we need to go on edit mode, and there's not going to be an axis that we like. If we want to make it taller, it's going to be a bit complicated. So always do it at the end of modeling that object. Okay, so now we've done this, and now we just need it to repeat. As you can see, if I show the modifier, it's repeating on the flat axis, but we want to go around. So we don't want this relative offset because it only adds like a distance between duplicates, and it's the same all the time. We want to be like a circumference. So we're just gonna remove this, and we're gonna add object offset. And with object offset, basically we're telling it, okay, we're gonna have an object that is gonna tell you what's the distance between each duplicate. It's not gonna be a number, exact number. So here we have to choose what object we want. And we can, for example, select the cylinder because it's already on the middle. The origin is in the middle. Also, we need to keep in mind that the origin has to be the same to have this effect. And basically, as we can see, it's already going up. What we want to do is we want to Control A, apply the transforms also on the body of the windmill. And now we press R to rotate it. And we're going to do it from the top. And as you can see, we hold Control to snap. It fits perfectly. We have it on every little vertices of the balcony. It's perfectly fit. Now, always remember, this is not, it's non-destructive, so we can always just go back and be like, oh no, I just want to change it after like an hour of modeling, or I just want like half the railings on it. We can just increase, decrease the number of them, okay? But now we have this. Now what we want to do is the supports in the middle. So as we can count here, well, it's hard to see, but I counted it before. But basically we have 5 supports per side of the balcony. And without counting the edge ones, so this one we already added, there's like 3 in the middle. As you can see here, it's like this one is an edge, like this one is on the edge, and then we have 3 in the middle. So basically what we want to do is add another support. Now we could start from the beginning again and do it by hand, or more simply, we could just duplicate this one and just do it again. So basically we're gonna, as all programs, we're gonna just, remember it's an object mode, Control C, Control V, and now we duplicated it, but it's also duplicating the object reference we're using, so the windmill. So what we need to do is select it and remove it because we're gonna have another duplicate. And we're just gonna select this one. And as you can see, if we rotate it, it's another one. We're just gonna remove it. Wait, I didn't, there we go, sorry. And we're just gonna select the windmill body again. And if we go edit mode, we're just gonna hide the modifier for now. We're just gonna go top view, and we're just gonna put it in the middle of this windmill on the side, sorry. Now we have a small problem that is like, okay, but how do I put it precisely on the exact distance between supports? That's very easy. We can do snap tools. So basically, we're just gonna go back with this, and we're just gonna go to the platform, and we're gonna do a quick hack, I would call it, because it's not very, it's very like just using snap tool for what we want. And basically, we're just gonna edge loop, a cut loop, and we're just gonna scroll wheel to add 3 cuts, and we're just gonna right click on it, and we just cancel the movement. And basically, we're gonna have like these loops. They're gonna be like under this support, under this support, and under this one. So now we won't see it, but if we enable the snap tool here, we don't have to touch anything but the vertex, and we're just gonna select this support. And if we go to the side, sorry, here, we're just gonna, and you can see if we press G to move it, it's already snapping on it. Now, it's not snapping correctly. As you can see, it's like snapping like on the side of the support. We want to snap like on the middle of it. So basically what we're gonna do is go to the center of it. So snap with the center of the object that we have. Oh, sorry. No. Oh, sorry. The origin is in the middle. So what we have to do, I forgot to say, we're gonna press Shift S, and we're gonna do the, sorry, not Shift S. We're gonna do, what I forgot to say is that we need to go to Preferences and Edit. If you didn't do it in the previous session, I believe we did it already. If you're new or you didn't do it last time, we need to go to Preferences and go to Navigation, no, Key Map, sorry. And in key map, we're gonna need to change the spacebar action, and we want to change it to search. Basically, when we press spacebar, we have like a small search bar that we can just search whatever tool we need to use. So we're gonna leave it at that, close it, and now we're gonna press space and we're gonna search origin. I'm gonna put origin to geometry. So basically it's gonna snap the origin back in the middle of the support and center. And now it's snapping perfectly on the vertex, okay?
Yes. Hola.
So now we need to rotate it
A ver,
to be exactly perpendicular to the face. So basically we just press R from the top view and holding control to snap on angles. By the way, we need to remove this just to not have problems later. And we're gonna have it at minus 20. And let's see. As you can see, it's not exact as we want it. So you can see here's like exactly the same, but not here. Basically, that means we are not rotating correctly and the snap is not snapping to the angle we want. See, it's already like passed over here. Basically, that means because the angle is like 0.5 of the sides. So it's a bit of a math thing, but basically we have like 45 degrees here. So we need to be angled on the half of 45, so it's 22.5. So we're gonna go here and go to the item here, and we can edit precisely with numbers, the rotation of it. So it's rotated 22, and we don't want that. We want half of 45, so that means 22.5. As you can see now, it's precise. Okay, that depends on how many faces we added to the balcony, because it's 8 faces divided by, sorry, 360 degrees divided by 8 is 22.5. So now that we have it rotated perfectly, and it's, if we put the snap, it's snapped correctly to this edge here. We want to repeat it 3 times. So basically what we're gonna do before that, we're gonna do, we're gonna adjust it first, sorry. So we want to do is basically do it the same size as the other, because we changed it and now it's like down a bit. So basically what we're gonna do is we need the transform, but as you can see, the transform, if we move it up, it's just not doing it correctly. We want it to go exactly perpendicular to the normal. That means like the angle of this face. So basically we just click on this and we go normal. So basically it's exactly the same angle as where it's orientate this face. And basically we go up. And it's a bit hard to see, so we can just do it like this. And we can just test. Now we need to move the downwards. We can just go see through. We can select this face. And the same, we're just gonna move it up like this. Okay, then we're gonna edit it later more if it's not exactly how we want it. Now we want to repeat it. Now it's a bit more complex because it's not like the previous support that we just repeated it 8 times around the circle. We want to repeat it 3 times on each side and 8 times around the circle, but it's very easy. Basically, we already have this array here. We're gonna have to, by the way, remember, we have to select this one and we have to Control A and apply all the transforms. So we have the origin back in the middle. So we rotate it around the circle. And we're gonna show this. And as you can see, it's repeating, but we're lacking the other 2 supports. We could do the same and just copy paste the support, but it's way easier with adding another array. And basically arrays are, if you add more than one, they're like layers. So they go from top to bottom on which one happens first. So we're gonna, this is the new one. We're gonna just put it 3 times array. And this is gonna be the circle array that we did previously. So this one, we need to put it on the top. So it does it first. And we need 3 of them. And basically we need to adjust it to this side because it's going like that way. By the way, the reference one is this one. So we want to do is go top view. And basically we need to do it by hand. like this. Okay, we need to adjust it perfectly like this, and we have it. Basically, it's just adding different like distances for each axis in this case, and that's it. So now that we're doing this 3 times already, it's basically duplicating it 3 times with this preset. It has to be relative offset. We don't have object in this time. And then after these ones are duplicated, we do the next array that it basically does it around the circle. Because if we had it on a different order, for example, it's basically going to do the circle first, and then it's going to do the array of the 3 times later. So it's very important, the order on how we put them. But as I said, it's non-destructive, so we can always change them anytime soon. So now that we have this, we need to add the railing. So that one is going to be very easy. Basically, we're just going to model the railing and then do the array again around as we did for the first support. So basically Shift-A, we're going to do add a mesh cube, and we're just going to make it smaller like this. We're just going to go top view, and we're just going to put it. But what I would do is I would snap it right on the middle of this face, and from then on I will just rotate it by hand. It's going to be 20 again, 22.5, the angle of this face, and basically just make it bigger till it reaches the vertice, and thinner this side. As you can see, we need to put it up there like here, and basically adjust it more or less. But what we need to do is add 3 railings of them. So basically what we can do is exactly, I'm gonna make it a bit thinner here, and we're just gonna Control-C, Control-V, G to move it down. And now that we have it set up, we just have to just make it a bit thinner, like in the reference image. Up to you how you want to put them as thickness. And gonna put it here, then Control-C, Control-V again, and right here. Gonna make this one a bit thinner also. Okay, now we have these 3 ones. Basically, what we need to do is basically rotate them a bit. By the way, you can do this. You can have this gizmo here, so it shows you the rotation here. But we're just gonna do it by hand as always. But first, we need to join them together, so it's considered only one object. So it's gonna be easier to add the array later. So basically, what we can do is select one, then holding Shift, select the second one, and then Control-J, and we just join them together. Select the bottom one, select the middle one, Control-J, and that's it. Keep in mind where the origin is. So now it's perfectly in the middle, because if you move it a bit too much, the gizmo is going to be on another place. So you always make sure that it's in the middle, more or less, of the asset. If it gets like crazy and goes in places it shouldn't go, you can always just press space and search origin. And it's going to be origin to geometry, and basically places in the middle of the volume. And now what we want to do is rotate it. So press R, lock on this axis, and we're going to do a -30 as we did before. And that's it. We have the railing put here. We're just going to move it a bit like this. Make sure it doesn't come out. As you can see, it's already like in this side, for example, it's not in the same. So basically we can just edit the face of it here and here, holding Shift, we select more than one, and just pressing S and locking on this axis. We can just make it a bit bigger, and it gets inside the support, and we have it. Now, what do we want to do? Oh, I'm going to make it a bit thinner. Now we want to do is the array. So it's the same procedure as before. We need to add the array modifier here, and we need to put it 8 times. And now obviously it's doing the same. So we need to untick the relative offset and put the object offset, and we choose the middle object here. And it's gonna do crazy stuff. That's because the origin is not in the middle. So basically Control A and apply all transforms, and that's it. We have it all around. And as it's non-destructive, we can just go here, for example, and we can like, oh, I want to just make this railing a bit smaller. I don't like it. If we just make it a bit smaller, it applies to all the duplicates at the same time. Now, also another thing about modifiers, if you want to edit only this railing, for example, what we would need to do is basically we need to go in object mode and we apply it, and basically just applies it. And at this point, we're already done with the array. We can't remove it unless we do Control Z. And if we, for example, edit this one, it's already done. All the duplicates, and they're already there. So we wouldn't need to go all of them and modify it. We don't want that. So we're just gonna Control Z, keep the modifier on it, and we have it here. Okay. Now we're done on the balcony side. We're going to do the same with the supports. So it's going to be the same procedure. Basically, it's going to be Shift A, add another shape, the cube. I'm going to go top view. We're just going to make it very, very thin, like this. And we're just going to move it. We're going to do a see-through, so we can see the base of it. As you can see, we want this base here that touches the ground. It's this one. We're just going to move it here, and we're going to rotate it 22.5. I believe it's this angle. No, there we go, minus 22.5. So it's the same angle as that face. I'm going to do it a bit smaller, probably. Yeah. And we also want to do the snap again. So we have it more or less in the exact like third of it, because we're going to put it 3 times, so like in the reference here. So basically, we're going to do the same. We're just going to Control R and add 3 of them like this. And now we can just enable the snap tool, and it snaps to this edge, as you can see, to the vertice. And we have it just perfectly put here. Okay, now we're going to rotate it. We need to rotate it to go, well, we're going to do make the beam. Front view, and we're going to make it like this. If we go to edit mode, we can just see through face mode with number 3, and then we can just move it down a bit. We're going to remove the snap, by the way. And now, okay, we have the beam, but it's going only up perfectly. We want it to go like 30 degrees to one side, so it's very easy. We just remember to keep this axis on local, because if we do global, it's going to use the global axis. We don't want that. We want the local one. So it keeps the rotation that we did earlier, the 0.22.5 and minus 22.5, see through. And then we're going to just press R, lock on this angle. And basically, as you can see, at minus 30, for example, oh, it's opposite rotation. So basically just remove the minus, and that's it. Now, okay, we need to just snap it, make it, we can just change the global. We can just make it fit like this, go up. It looks good. Now, if you want to make it exactly to touch on the surface of this, for example, what we can do is use a tool that I showed you at the previous webinar. It's basically shear. Shear here. And shear, basically what it does is it rotates that face, but without modifying the volume of the 3D object. So for example, if we did just a rotation to keep it on like at the same level, like flat on the top, as you can see, it's just doing like weird rotations like this. Wait, I'm gonna do it local. As you can see, it's doing this like it's modifying all the volume of it. So we want to shear. Basically, shear is going to do this. We select the flat one that's going up and down. It's this one right here, the pink one, and holding control again. As you can see, it's not changing the volume of the 3D object. It's just rotating the top face. So basically, we want it flat, more or less. It's like that. And we can do the exact same with the other one. Basically, it's going to be the same pink one. And we can just have it like this. Doesn't have to be, but if we want to be like exactly touching surface to surface for example, 3D printing, for example, you need all the shapes to be in one and there no be like clipping through, like for example, this here, they're clipping through. I'll show you later. There's a way to do it, but if you don't want to do it, we need to like put it right on the edge. But for now, we don't need it. So for now, it's like this, okay? So now we want to do is basically the same as the railing support. So basically what we're gonna do is do an array. We're gonna add 3 of them. And as you can see, it's, oh, okay, it looks like this, but as if we look into it, like, wait, top view, and we can just align it to the supports on the top, more or less. So like this, okay? And now we need to do the rotation around. So we add another array. We add 8 of them. We untick the relative offset and we add the object offset. And then we choose the windmill body. And as you can see, it's doing crazy stuff. It's because we didn't apply the transforms. So basically we're gonna Control A, apply all transforms. And wait, I did something wrong. No, it's perfectly fine. Oh yeah, sorry. We need to modify this. Also, if we don't want to do this, because now basically we reset the rotation, so it's taking the distance on like the world axis. If we don't want to do this, by the way, we can just, before adding this, applying the transform, we can just apply this modifier. Wait, sorry, for this. We can just apply this modifier, and then we can just Control A, apply all transforms, add the array that is already there, select this windmill, and that's it. Basically, we just applied it. If not, we have to do the same as earlier and just go like add the distance on each one. So basically like a bit to the right, a bit down. But in this case, it's very good like this. But we lost the array modifier, but we're not going to go back to it because we're already very sure about it. So it's like this. Now we're going to move on to the top. So we're going to want to add the rooftop. So by the way, if you want to hide an object because it's on the way and we don't want to see it anymore, we can just select it, press H, and we can just hide it. We have it here. We can just go back and show it again. We're just going to hide it for now. And we're going to add the roof. The roof, it's like a half a sphere, right? But in this case, what we're going to do is exactly the same as we did with the balcony. So we're just going to Shift A, add a mesh. We're going to add a circle. It's already keeping the same configurations as before. So 8 sides, we don't need to change it. Basically front view. And we're just going to put it where the main body of the windmill stops, more or less. And like this. Now it's empty in the middle and we want it to fill in, to touch with the windmill. So basically we'd go edit mode. I'm gonna remove this tool. And basically we can do is press F. And F, what it does is it creates a cap, like kind of saying, like it makes a face between all the edges that we selected. If we don't want this, because basically it's making a face of many sides, we can always do another thing. I think I showed you 2 weeks ago about it, but basically we can do just an extrude. We cancel it, so basically it keeps on the same place. And then what we can do is just press M to merge, and then center, and it just merges everything we selected into the middle and makes this like triangle. So basically it's good for example, video game design, stuff like that. So it doesn't fuse all together. It doesn't make a face of too many sides. Okay. So basically we have this, and we're just gonna do the same as all the time. We're just gonna extrude up, lock on this edge. We're gonna Alt Z, by the way, to see through. And we're just gonna taper it a bit inwards to make like a round shape, more or less. Basically like this and this. Okay, I'm gonna just modify this one. And this one, just gonna go up, make like a cone. And for now, we're just gonna leave it like this simple. Merge to put the cap on it. And that's it. Now, it looks very low polygon, basically. It's very like cube, like a cube. We can modify that very easily with, again, with a modifier. Basically, we could do also like add edge loops, but it's like manual and it's not gonna end like the same way. So we're just gonna add a modifier. So basically go here and we're gonna go to subdivision surface. Basically subdivision surface, what it does, it adds edges everywhere to make everything smoother. And as you can see, it's already made it like a bit smoother. And here we have the levels of viewport, and we're just gonna increase it. And as you can see, it adds more and more and more. I wouldn't go past 3 in this case, because the more you add, it's more heavy for your computer. We don't want that. The render, we're not gonna touch it. I would keep it like at the same, just if we want to make a render. But now it's just modify the shape of it, right? Like, as we can see in the windmill, here is like sharper, and here it just rounded it so much. There's 2 ways to make it sharper on this side. So what you can do is like holding Alt, we select all this edge loop, and then we can just do 2 things. Or we can do the bevel, that's like the bit more dirtier way, kind of saying that for now, it wouldn't be a big problem, but when we are in a big project, usually what we want to do is non-destructive stuff that we can just go back if in case we don't want it anymore. But in here, we can just do Control B to add a bevel and scroll wheel. I'm not pressing anything. Just by moving your mouse, you can just set the distance between the loops, and we can make it as sharp as we want. So basically, we're gonna leave it at this, and it's already made it sharper. Now, okay, but this is a bit too like adding more edges to it. We don't want that. What we can do is we go back, Control Z, and we can do right click and do edge crease. Edge crease is basically like adding information. As you can see here, we click on it, doesn't do anything. But if we move the mouse, you see it adds a color and it makes it sharper. It's basically marking, like adding a tag to these edge loops saying, hey, when you do the subdivision in this place, don't smooth it out that much. And we can just always go back to it. Edge crease Shift-E, by the way, and we can just tell him how sharp we want it. In this case, we're just gonna leave it like this. And we're gonna do like this, and we can just edit it. Now, the good thing of a modifier is that if we go to edit mode, we still keep these edge loops as simple, because if we do this, sorry, not this, if we apply it, it's added a lot of them, and we don't want that because it's very hard to modify it. So basically what we do here, and we're just gonna make it a bit more round around this side. Perfect. Now we have the rooftop. Perfect. Now we're gonna do is add the mill side, the wings of it. So basically what we need to do first is the axis where it's gonna turn around. So we're gonna Shift A, add a mesh, and the cube. Okay. So top view, just gonna make it smaller and smaller, and I'm gonna put it here. Okay. Now, as we can see on the reference, we can't see it very clearly, but basically it's coming out of the rooftop. So we're gonna keep it on this side. Apparently it's not touching, so we're just gonna move it a bit down. Now we're gonna just move it. In real life, these windmills, this side is just turned a bit. We're gonna turn it later when we already done all the wings of it. but for now we're going to keep it on 90 degrees and later we're going to change it. Okay, so we're just going to make this axis a bit longer like this, and it's okay, perfectly fine. Later we will add a detail if we need it. For now, we're just going to keep it simple with the cube. Now we need to add these wings. First, we're going to do the shaft side. This is like long wooden part. So basically, again, another cube. Just going to make it smaller and smaller and smaller. Top view. And we're just going to go up. Basically, if we want to snap it, that's way better. We're just going to snap here. And what we can do is add an edge loop here in edit mode, Control R, and we can just add an edge loop. Wait, I'm gonna remove this. And we can just like, okay, it's to say where we want the shaft to come out. So we can just put it like around here. And then we need a vertice to snap on it. So basically we're just gonna cut it like this. So this vertice here, this vertice here, this vertice here and here, they're going to tell us where the shaft is going to snap to. It's very simple and it helps a lot in 3D modeling. So we're going to go object mode, just going to make it a bit smaller probably. And we're going to make it way taller. Like, want it, wait, like this. Okay, so now we have one shaft, we need 4. We'll do the array later because it's very useful. But first we need to do the snap. Okay, so we're just gonna do it at the snap. As you can see, it snaps right into the middle. And now we just move it down. Front view. And perfectly snaps. It's gonna clip through. And as I said, it's because it's rotated in real life a bit upwards. We're gonna do it later. For now, it's perfectly fine. Probably what we can do is just put it on the top for adding the other stuff. Just gonna remove the snap tool. And now that we have the shaft, we have to add these small pieces here, like the skeleton of it, where the fabric goes for the windmill. So what we're gonna do is basically our best friend array, because there's a lot of repetitions and we have to go one by one. So better to just do one and just duplicate it many times. So basically another shape, the cube. Make it very small. And we're gonna put it here. And we can do the snap again. So basically we go edit mode here, Control R. And we can put it around here, I believe. Yeah, more or less. And we're gonna add another edge loop here. I'll tell you later how to remove these edge loops, or I can tell you now if you want, but we're not going to do it. If to remove an edge loop, like for example here, that we already finished, these edge loops, we don't need them anymore. And they're like not symmetrical with everything. So we can just select them by holding Alt and then holding Shift at the same time. We can just add more to the selection. We just selected these edges. We can just press Delete and then dissolve edges. And basically it removes them without removing the face of it. I think we did it also here. So we're just gonna, holding Alt and Shift, we select all 3 of them. And then we just delete, dissolve edges, and we keep it perfectly clean. Okay, now what we need it here is to do the snap in this side, okay? Just gonna make it smaller. And basically go on edit mode, see through, then pressing 3 faces. You can just select this face right here, okay? And we're just gonna make it probably this size, more or less, yeah. And now we need to do, again, is the array. Now it's gonna be very simpler because we don't need to repeat it around a lot. So we're just gonna do an array, which is gonna add a lot of them. Probably 12, I believe, would be good. And then it's duplicating on that way. So we just, the x-axis is going to be 0 and the z is going to be minus. So we're just going to go down and we're going to just put it right here. Probably this little things, it's too big. So we're just gonna select it all with pressing A. I'm just gonna make it a bit smaller, probably. Yeah. Just gonna make it bigger on this side. Perfectly fine. And we just again add more distance between them. And that's it. Now we need to do the other ones, the vertical ones. So basically it's the same. We can add another shape, or simpler and easier, we can do just on object mode, Control C, Control V, select on it, because if not, it's going to do the both of them. And we just rotate 90 degrees, holding Control. And we move it right there. Okay, snapping on it. But we don't need that many, so we can just decrease number of them. And probably move them here like this. And we need them to go down to the bottom. Perfectly fine. Probably another one. And we're gonna make it a bit thinner. Perfect. Like this. Okay. Now we can always add more of them or less, depending on how many we want. So if we wanted, for example, we wanted more of them here, we can just add a couple more and make them short, the shorter distance for the offset. And here we have it. I want to add it probably to make it look better. Just gonna make it up here. It's up to you how you want it. It's no problem. Then probably I'll just move this down a bit. Okay. We're just doing it simpler. We have a bit rough edges here and there. We can just change it later. No problem. Okay. So what we're going to do is here like this. And we want to do is, okay, now we have this finished. We're not going to modify it. We're just going to apply all the modifiers like this. And then just join them with selecting them and Control J. Controlling this, then holding Shift, then Control J. And we added them all together. Now it's going to be a bit complex because we want to do is an array and go around this edge shaft, this like axis here. It's not the axis of the windmill in the middle. So basically what we want to do, it's going to be 4 of them. Relative offset, no, it's object offset. And we select this one. Now it's going to be a bit weird. Basically what we need to do is put this origin right on the axis of this one. So basically it's very easy. We're going to do, it's going to be Control S, sorry, not Control S, Shift S. And what we're going to do is cursor to active. Cursor is this little red and white thing. It's basically like a reference point for when we create an object, right? It's going to create it here and not in the middle. So wherever we put this 3 cursor is like a reference for example, what we're going to do now. That is, okay, we want this origin here. We put it on the cursor. So basically we're going to space and then origin to cursor, I believe, 3D cursor, and basically put the origin here. Now we're going to apply the transforms, but the location, because the location is the origin and we already put it. So we're just going to apply rotation and scale here. And we're going to apply rotation here. And yeah, okay, it's done. Now what we need to do is rotate the shaft to tell the wing to say, okay, now I want you to rotate around, because right now we have all 4, one on top of the other. So basically we're just going to select this shaft, lock on this axis, and holding Control 90 degrees, and perfect. Now we need to do the rotation. So we're just going to select them all. Select this axis. Sorry. We're gonna apply this modifier, join it with the axis. And then we're just gonna lock on this one. And as you can see, it's already taken this angle. And basically that's it. You can rotate. Now, This is a bit dirtier way of joining 3D objects to one another. We can do another tool. It's another modifier. It's called booleans. Booleans is basically how to add different shapes directly and removing all the in between them. So for example, we have the rooftop. Oops, sorry. Here. We have the rooftop that if we turn on the see-through, we go on edit mode, we can see that it's like inside of it. You can see it's like inside, and we don't want that. We want to make it cleaner. So what we're gonna do is gonna select the main body of the windmill, and we're just gonna do Boolean, and we're gonna choose, okay, this Boolean, what do we want it to do? What we want it to do is union, basically to add two shapes together. And we're gonna choose the rooftop. Now we can't see anything, like nothing changed, but this is the rooftop we have. If we hide it pressing H, as you can see, it's all in one. And if you look at it, if we apply it, sorry, we can see that we go to perspective. As you can see inside, it removed the inside face and it's already like all together. That's very, very important for 3D printing, for example, because you don't want faces going through each other, because if I believe the 3D program or the like for printing, it's going to have a bit of issues with it. It's going to probably tell you like, hey, there's like clipping through or something. You need to change this or it's not going to do the 3D printing properly. So Booleans are super important for that. So we already done the Boolean. We don't want to apply it yet. We're just going to keep it like this, hiding the rooftop. And basically that's it. Now, what we can do is if we want to make it everything smoother and all that, we can do right click on it and shade smooth. It's going to look a bit ugly, but don't worry. We're going to go here to object data properties, and we're going to go to normals, auto smooth. So basically it's making all the edges smooth, but now we're telling it, okay, make all the edges smooth below 30 degrees. Okay, so for example, as you can see here, these edges are just getting a bit smoother. For example, we already removed this edge here, but we can just do bevel, for example, to make everything smoother. Make it smoother here with a bevel. Basically, we're just doing stuff smooth, okay? And now, basically, this is the 3D modeling basic one. We can just go on more detail about it. So, for example, if we want to add more shape to this, I would do probably add two loops here. Select one, resize it a bit, just make it a bit smaller. And then on face mode, holding Alt, then we can just extrude and make it a bit smaller here, a bit bigger there. For example, we added just a bit more shape to it, right? It just depends on how detailed you want the model. And for example, in this case, now that we've done all this, we're missing windows, but I don't think we're gonna have time today for that. But for example, the door, right? Right now, there's no entrance to the windmill. Very simple. We're just gonna go here and, okay, we want to remove 3 of these beams, but we can't because of the array. What we need to do is apply it. And now if we go edit mode, we can just select these ones. If we select them properly, and we just delete these vertices. And as you can see, we have a gap on it. Basically, we just go here, select this face. And what we're gonna do is gonna add probably edge loops here. I'm gonna do another edge loop here and basically extrude inwards. A bit smaller. And basically we have a simple door. We can do another one, edge loop, go up and add a bit more detail. That's up to you. If you want to make it like smoother, here it's too sharp. We can just holding Shift and Alt, then Control B. And we can just make this a bevel. That's up to you, how detailed you want it. Now, quickly, I'll do the animation. For example, if you want to do a bit starting animation, some people get into Blender for the animation. So we'll just do a quick rundown. It's basically holding Shift A. Instead of a shape, you're going to add an armature. I'm not going to explain in depth about it. Just going to tell you how to do it. Basically, it added this bone. We want this bone to be in this 0 in the middle of the windmill. So basically, we're going to do active and to, sorry, wait, Shift S, and then we're going to do cursor to world origin, and then active to cursor, sorry, selection to cursor. And now if we go see through, we can see this is a bone basically, and we put it in the middle. Okay, if we it works the same as 3D modeling when we want to edit it. So basically, if we press tab, we can just edit, and we just go, wait, remove the snap tool, and we can just put it. This is going to be a bone. It depends on, it tells you what it's going to be rotated and what not. We have it like this in the middle perfectly. If you want to see always the bone, by the way, you can always go here, the skeleton looking, and we can go to, I believe it's viewport display, and then in front, and it's always going to show in front. Okay, it's very useful. And now what we want to do is like put it right here, and we're going to make a bone coming out. So it's going to be this, the wings of it, the arms of the windmill. So basically pressing E to extrude, we're just going to make it extrude out like this. And basically we make the wing of it. Now what we have to do is assign each model to it. So basically what we want to do is, for example, the windmill is not going to rotate at all. It's only going to be the wings. So we're going to just select different, all of this, for example. Wait, first of all, before joining shapes, we need to apply the modifiers like this. Always go, when you're applying modifiers more than one, go from top to bottom. So apply, I believe we have them all. Yes. So solidify also, we need to apply it. And now we're just gonna select them all. Control J, Control J, Control J. Oops, I forgot one of the modifiers. Oh yeah, the Boolean. Apply, Control J, and Control J. Now it looks a bit weird. It's because of the auto smooth. Just change it a bit. And this is already fused. So now what we want to do is assign what object topography, basically the 3D volume is gonna move along the what bone. So basically it's very easy. We just select first the bone, and holding shift, we select the object we want to edit, front view, and then we're gonna control tab, and we're gonna go to weight paint. You can change it here also on the top left. You can choose what mode. We're gonna go to weight paint, okay? And now what we do is holding control, we select what bone, and then we can just hold Alt, drag to one side, and red means how much weight of that bone is gonna act. And for now, we just wanted this bone to be the windmill, for example. And this, we're gonna select the skeleton first, and then select this. Don't join these two 3D objects first. And select the skeleton, then the 3D object, Control Tab. Holding Control Tab, we just move to weight paint, release. And now Control, it's not gonna show it, but holding Control on this bone, just gonna do the same, holding Alt. Now we go back to object mode. We select the skeleton, and then the same mode, we're gonna go to, it's not gonna show it here, but we're gonna go to pose mode. Also, it's quicker with Control Tab also, it just does it automatically, just toggles between one another. When it's blue, it means that you rotate the bones as like a showing, like, oh, okay, you can see how it moves the bone, but it's not editing the skeleton. The skeleton is always gonna stay like that. Okay, if we make it bigger like this, it's not editing the actual skeleton. See, when we go to edit mode, it's still on that spot. Okay, but we don't want to make it bigger. What we want to do is make it rotate. Now I didn't do the weight paint properly. Give me a second. Weight paint. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do one thing. Sorry. We need to select the object and we need to assign it towards skeleton. Sorry, I forgot that step. So we select the object first and then holding shift, we need to select the skeleton. Seems a bit complicated, but you get used to it very quick. It's like first the object, then we holding shift, we select the skeleton, Control P, set parent to, and then we're gonna go with empty groups. Basically, it's telling you, okay, we're gonna follow this skeleton, but no weight to it first. No bone is gonna move anything for now. And we're gonna do the same with this. So select the 3D object, then the skeleton, Control P with empty groups. And now we do the exact same as we did before. First the skeleton, then the 3D object, Control Tab, weight paint. And now we select this bone and we paint it all red. You can also do it like this painting, but it just takes too long. Holding Alt, it does like a gradient, but if you do it outside, it just paints everything red. Here you can change the weight of it, by the way, like paint it like remove weight or add weight. We're just gonna add all of it. And then we're gonna do the same with this. So select the skeleton first, then the object, because we're gonna edit the object, Control Tab, weight paint, and then Alt, and we just painted everything, the weight of it. And now if you go object mode and we select the skeleton and we go on pose mode, you will see because it's blue and it says here. If we move this one, for example, see all the windmill is moving. But if we select only this one and we rotate on this axis, it rotates this. Very simple animation. From this on, it just gets very complicated if we just want to animate more and more bones, but it's very, very cool. Okay. And if we just want to make it on the time, basically like to play it here, we have a timeline. So basically what we have to do is start recording. And basically what we're going to do is press I to add a keyframe. And we're just going to do the rotation. We only care about rotation here. So it added, okay, it's going to, on the keyframe 0, is going to be on this rotation. Now we're going to, the animation is going to end on the frame 100. So we're going to go to the frame 100 and we're just going to rotate it. Let's see what axis is it. See that there's like a lot of axes here rotating. What we can do is just change this axis to how many, to only degrees. And as you can see, it's only changing this one. We can just 360. Sorry. Press I on it, on top of it, and it saves the keyframe. And here we're gonna do the same, 0, and that's it. And now it just rotates on itself. So basically, if we just remove everything and we just untick the in front so we don't see the skeleton, press play, and it rotates. That's it. That's a small animation if you want to just show it. We didn't get very, very into detail for the model. We don't have much time, I believe. But for now, I think these are the basic tools. If you have any question about it, just you can ask now. I'm sorry if I went a bit too fast. There's a lot to show, but yeah, I'm open to questions or anything if you want to contact. No problem.
Yeah, I think the questions will come once we try on our own. Now everything explained is clear and it was easy to follow, but I guess the problems will come when we're there trying on our own.
Yeah, it's gonna happen a lot that when you get into it, you're gonna find problems that didn't happen here on my case, for example, and you're just gonna try it again. There's a lot of YouTube videos about issues that people have, so you just search it and there will be for sure a video exact that problem. But yeah, it's basically just try it and get it wrong, because as you saw it, I also get it wrong sometimes. Just so many steps that you just skip 1 or 2 sometimes.
And actually, your video will also be in YouTube. So I can share the link. I can share the link in the chat of your previous webinar, and this one will also be uploaded to YouTube. So now you will be one of those tutorials that people look for in YouTube.
That's a lot of responsibility, actually.
Good. Elena, I don't know if you want to say anything else.
Yeah. Hi, sorry. I'm going to send the evaluation form in the chat. So if you could please fill that up, fill that in. It really helps us to, improve the next webinars. To know your opinion, it's here.
Oh,
Well,
also,
thank you everyone for attending another week, and thank you, Pau.
you're welcome. No
Pau,
problem.
are you there?
Yeah,
Oh,
can you hear me?
sorry,
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you everyone, and we'll see you again in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The 30th, yeah, of June.
I just wanted to link
Did
1
anyone
quick.
want to say anything? No.
Sorry, I forgot.
Okay.
I just
Bye-bye,
wanted.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye, people. Thank you, Pao.